Happy Thursday, ladies and gents. Julian here, and I am going to answer your questions that were posted on our Wisdom Wednesday, our interactive Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you for everyone that shared your content and your questions and your amazing topics of discussion. Today's going to be interesting. We're going to do a lot more than just one question. I'm going to address a few different topics, so I hope you stick around and learn from this video. I'm going to start with Joseph with an F. That's his Instagram name, and I know Joseph is an endurance athlete, and he had a few questions that are very interesting, great topics of conversation. Joseph, here's my answers and to your questions. Starting up with injury prevention. When it comes down to injury prevention, the first thing that I'm gonna check is my sleep. I gotta make sure that I'm getting quality sleep. Remember, guys, we recover when we sleep. This is when most of recovery in the human body happens. Tons of melatonin being released, tons of chemicals that are very, very similar to melatonin or a derivative of the melatonin are being released when we get good quality sleep. And this is packed with antioxidants and healing agents. So you want to make sure that you get your Z's and good quality Z's. Next up, proper nutrition. Of course, got to make sure that our food has good nutritional value. You don't want to just merely focus on your calories or merely focus on your macronutrients, your proteins, your fats, your carbohydrates. We want to make sure that you are getting micronutrients as well. We just had a video not too long ago posted about this regarding micronutrients and the difference and how important it is to bring nutritional value to your meals. I'm talking about vitamins and minerals. I'm talking about overall optimal health. It's gonna be definitely a byproduct of adding these nutrient-dense foods to your meal plan. So that's gonna help with injuries. That's gonna prevent a lot of things, a lot more than injuries. And last but not least, always listen to your body. If you feel sore, you might want to check where the soreness is coming from. Are we doing something that's causing that soreness? Not a good kind of soreness, a injury type of soreness. When you're feeling a little bit of a sharp pain, or maybe the nerve around that area is pinching a little bit and is causing your nervous system to boop, give you that little bit of pain reminder. And this means something. This is a sign of your body going, hey, something's not right here. So let's make sure we listen to our bodies. With that being said, once you listen to your body, you can adjust a few things. If it's a muscle soreness, maybe you should up your protein intake. If you feel like maybe you are just worn out, you feel fatigued, you want to check your iron sources, make sure that you're getting enough iron in your diet. And of course, you want to make sure that your carbohydrates, especially for you, Joseph, as an endurance athlete, are pretty high. That is the first question that Joseph had. The second one, very interesting. Longevity. I could, guys, we probably need another 2 hours and maybe a bottle of wine in order for us to go over longevity. That's a very wide subject, but I'm going to summarize it this way. This is what I am going to give you as my personal advice. The best way to live a long, healthy life is to eliminate stress factors. And here's why. Here's how it works. Stress response, the flight or fight system, stress hormones, whatever you want to call it, emergency time. We have an amazing stress response, an amazing flight or fight system. But here's what happens. This comes in handy, and this is very efficient if I have angry dog that just escaped the neighbor's house chasing me. Yes, I want my flight or fight, my hormone response system to be fully activated, and its job is to provide all of the energy available to my limbs, to my hands, to my feet. My heart's gonna be faster so I can create alertness. My brain is gonna be on its highest state of alertness and arousal. Very, very little blood to the brain. Most of the blood goes to the extremities so I can run, climb on a tree, wrestle the dog if I have to. And this is when it comes in handy. Here's the issue. The problem is when that stress factor, that angry dog, is your boss or your coworker or your spouse or someone at home that you've had a problem with for a long time, and now that person becomes the stress factor. We are not meant to be in a state of survival for too long. This will lead to illness, this will lead to disease. And if you look around, we live in a pretty stressful world. And if you look around, we also have a lot of illness and a lot of disease going around nowadays. And I believe deep down, I deeply and firmly believe that this is caused by stress. So eliminate the stress. There's gonna be no energy available. There's gonna be no energy left if we live on a constant state of stress. When the danger, when that angry dog is not real, is not representing that same danger that that dog could bite you, it could, it could seriously hurt you. When this becomes an everyday situation, your body internally doesn't recognize the fact that it's a dog or it's your boss. You are giving it the same signals. You signal the body to produce all these chemicals to get ready for danger because we have to escape the angry dog, but there's no angry dog. It's an everyday thing. This leads to disease, and it sure does not lead to longevity. So manage your stress levels, and the best way to do that, in my personal opinion, is to meditate. Get very familiar with yourself, Joseph, and that way you can actually recognize and spot the behaviors that cause stress, the emotions, which thought caused that emotion. You start to create awareness. You start to become familiar with those. That's what meditation does. It allows you to become familiar with yourself. So that's I'm gonna cut off there on the longevity, because otherwise I'm gonna spend a lot of time talking about this. This is a big passion of mine. But yes, Joseph, he had one more question, which was stretching. And I'm gonna be brief about this because this is not my specialty. I dedicate myself to nutrition and much more, and I do exercise, but I do not. I'm not a stretching expert. I would, from my own personal opinion, I would say to always stretch your hamstrings because they're such a large muscle group. I'm gonna also advise you to always keep your lumbar area flexible, and along with that, your hip flexors, hip ductors. I believe those are areas that require the most stretching because they have a lot of mobility and a lot of functioning in our bodies. However, Joseph, if you like to get more in depth about the stretching, highly recommend you get with Coach Lizzie from Rock Multisport. I know you know who she is, and she will be able to provide you with a lot more information regarding that. So Joseph, I hope that answers your question. Those were great topics of conversation, and let's move on to the next one, guys. Here we go again. Miss Lucy strikes again. She's got always great suggestions, so we appreciate. Thank you, Lucy, for always sharing these great topics of combo and these questions with us. She says, should you eat less on the days that we have light workouts? Wow, that's a great question. Again, I'm gonna go back to square one, and I'm gonna focus on the content of my calories. With that being said, forget the number. On the days that you might not have a 5-mile run, or for those of you that lift weights, you might not have a heavy lifting days. For those of you that go to boot camp, you might not have a crazy day at boot camp, or you might have a day off. Yes, we can come down on some of those macronutrients. You can come down a little bit on the protein levels, bring them down a notch. You can come down a little bit on the carbohydrates. You can even reduce your healthy fats or your fats in general. But what you should do as you do that is replace those foods with nutrient-dense meals. Let this be a true recovery day. Let this be a true healing day by providing your body with foods that are full of nutrients. Now, the calories might remain the same. Some of these nutrient-dense meals are gonna come with a good amount of calories, so you might end up with a similar caloric intake. I also don't believe it's very healthy to overnight or all of a sudden drop your calories. I think it's much, much smarter, and your body will appreciate it a lot more if you can keep a steady flow of calories, and that way you don't have spikes unless you're doing a carb cycling or intermittent fasting or one of those dieting approaches. That's a different. We can discuss those on a different video on a different day. But those are gonna be that's gonna be my advice regarding Lucy's question. On days that you don't train, Lucy, you can always substitute some of those macronutrients, which are the foods that provide you with energy, with some nutrient dense, some seeds, throw some vegetables in there that you usually wouldn't have on training days, and that way you provide overall your body with nutrient dense foods and overall optimal levels of health. Guys, this is it for today's response to our Wisdom Wednesday. These are amazing topics. I look forward to every Wednesday to see what you guys come up with. And just a little sneak peek here, because I did have one more question during this post, and it's from Allison. Allison is from Alpharetta, Georgia. Lovely person, great mom. I met her at a boot camp that I used to work at, and she's one of my followers, and she always comments, and she has really, really good topics of discussion. And her question was gut health. But that is a very, very wide subject. So what I'm going to do for Allison is tomorrow's topic of discussion is going to be all about gut health. So make sure you guys tune in for tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be full of information, full of knowledge that you can quickly turn into wisdom by applying it to your life. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, guys. And please, please, comment below if you have any questions, any suggestions, any comments on what we discussed today. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Thursday, an amazing rest of your week, and we will see you tomorrow. Make sure to tune in. Later.